So I greet you specially in our usual way, right? My name is Ubom Ben Oke, the convener of Asset Builders Have. In today's episode, mind shift is very important. You cannot build wealth, you cannot build assets if you have not built your mind. You recall in our previous episode, we talked about people, that all you're looking for is in people and all that. We spoke about all those things. But very importantly, right, you have to shift your mind. The wealth you want to create is in your mind. If your mind is not shifted yet, you will just remain where you are. So to be an asset-minded person, it has to start with the mind. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. That's what the scripture says. So for today, shift your mind. Shift your mind. Shift your mind to an asset-based person. Shift your mind to a wealthy person. Wealth starts from the mind. Remember in one of those episodes, I was laughing at a few persons that think that fairly used suit is better than new one. That's where you get original, right? And all that. You feel that if you buy a fairly used stockings, that is what the original quality is. My brother, that is a fat lie. Just your mind and poverty that has eroded your thought pattern, right? So I'm trying to bring you in here to say that Nigerians, as we were, right, we are already set up to fail. We are naturally set up to fail. Just think about, have you thought of who, if you are like me, have you thought of who carried the first day you were born? How wealthy was the person? Maybe a broke person, maybe. So automatically, the first person you saw when they gave birth to you was a broke person. 1-0. Now you left there, went to one nursery school that the teachers were paid 50,000, 30,000 and all that. So the teachers don't know what wealth is about. In your mind already, you're already programming that setup to fail. 2-0. You now went to, those of us that went to primary school, you now went to primary school and see the worst of it. In the whole years you spent in that school, you just know that it is poverty they have taught you naturally on how to be poor. Your mind is already, you have seen from when you were born to nursery school to primary school. Even in secondary school, who do you know in secondary school that was wealthy? What car did your principal drive? They bring one thing that looks funny, that teacher's reward is in heaven. Oh God, that is nonsense. They have just, again, planted one thing in your mind. So in all that, you were almost taught to fail. So your mind is already programmed to fail. Then you now leave and go to uni. You go to the university where you just see a lecturer that comes to teach about money. He has a torn collar, his shoes is bent, and all that, and he's teaching you about money. Oh God, you cannot teach what you have not practiced. So for almost 10, 15, 16 years of your life, you were just taught how to fail. Your mind is programmed in such a manner that you don't know what wealth is. When did you even start hearing about money? Do you know that children that grew up in a home where parents talk about money, they're talking about stock market, they're talking about investment in millions of naira, they are talking about how to grow businesses, those children grow up to know that life is very easy. What will you hear your parents talk about? They have not paid salary. When they pay salary, we will do this. When they pay salary, we will do that. But there are children that were born, their parents were talking about real investment, real figures. So they just grew up to knowing that life is not that hard. For you, that is like me, that we didn't grow up in that kind of environment. We grew up for 16 years, our minds have been battered. My brother, you need a radical mind shift. Radical mind shift. And it starts now. Shift your mind. Turn it now that you still have the time. Because in real life situation, a DJ Copy and me, our life can't be the same. Because she does not have, look, let me tell you something. It's not because she has so much money or her parents have so much money. It's how her parents have trained her. One day the father got angry, bought 3 Ferraris and say, you take brew, this one take. My brother, which one do your own parents buy? But what I want to say again is this. How do you want your children to live? That is why we are saying shift your mind. Radical mind shift. Start now to tell yourself the truth. That life is easy. Just start by telling yourself, maybe where you are, even watching this video might be a bit of dark place, no light, the place is, maybe you should close your eye and tell yourself life is easy. Start by talking to yourself first. And then shift your mind. Shift your mind. I'm sure if you shift your mind, it will start from there. Because if your mind is not made up now to be a wealthy person, to leave liability to assets, I'm sure anything I say after now, it might not work for you. But first tell yourself, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy. Life is easy for me. Going forward, I am an asset-based individual. Start from there first. So that in our next episode, when I'm talking to you how to shift your mind and how to create wealth, you know that already is embedded inside of you. Can you imagine someone like me that takes most times, I leave my house in the barrack to community secondary school at Dim, right? One day I'll tell you my story. I trek for 3 hours every day to school and 2 hours back. Already, I was already set up program naturally for failure. But you see why I'm talking to you? I had shifted my mind. You too can shift your mind. Don't worry, I'll tell you my story one day. Start shifting your mind now. Start now. Start now to shift your mind. Tell yourself that it's possible. There are children of the downtrodden, the very, very poor children from very backgrounds that you cannot talk about, from ghettos that have risen by mind shift. Today, they are wealthy people. One of my mentors, Dr. Stephen Akintayo, go and read his story. You will hear his story. It's online everywhere. One of my teachers, Adeshino, go and read their story. You will hear their stories. You know that it's possible to shift your mind. Then build from there. And then, my brother, if you build from where and shift, like I said, just give it another 3 months. You will see yourself working in consonance with what your mind is saying. Your success is a function of your mind. This episode, what I want you to do is a radical mind shift from someone that has been set up to fail to someone that has decided to succeed. Because in our next episode, I will itemize how to succeed. How to succeed. If you do so and follow the steps I will teach in the next episode, I can guarantee you in 3 months your life would have changed. My brother, you will not fail. You will not fail. I know how it has been for you. I know where your background had been. But there's one thing I can assure you. If you follow us on this ride consistently, your life will change. You will leave that liability mind to an asset-based mind. See, in Access Empire, what we do, we choose asset over liability. If you shift your mind, you will join us Access Empire to choose asset over liability. See you in our next episode. God bless you.